gives me the thumbs up, I'm going to give you a verbal cue.
Tell her to come up. Tell her to come on the screen.
Come on up.
Turn her screen on.
Hang on a sec. On YouTube?
No, she needs to turn on Zoom
She says there's nothing happening on YouTube.
because we waiting for her to come on.
They're waiting. She says because they're waiting for you. So when you come up, something will happen.
Tell her to come on.
I told her, and she hasn't.
Okay, tell her to stay right
I
there.
can't tell her anything.
All right, we're putting her on. Tell her to, I wish I could tell her to test her mic.
We can call her, right?
Let me see.
Welcome
There
to
she
the
is.
spring 2022
I'm sorry.
semester in the Faculty Institute. I'm not sure if we're live streaming right now because I can't see myself on the live stream on my other computer. So before we get started, I'm going to do a check. Katrina, can you let me know if you can see? Has the live streaming started? Well, I'm going to begin and hope that we have started live streaming, and if we haven't, we are, as you can see, having some technical difficulties this morning. I thought it would be one of the easier faculty institutes, and it's been more complicated because of the high-flex breakout sessions. So again, welcome. I'm really happy to see all of you, and looking forward to an exciting faculty institute. We will begin by hearing from President Breaux and Provost Goodman. Then I'll come back and talk about the schedule for our Faculty Institute. Let's give a rousing bulldog welcome to President Breaux. If you're at home, you can clap, and if you're in person, you can clap.
Thank you and good morning. Can everyone hear me all right? Great. Well, we can see Dr. Guerin just fine, so we are going to hope that we continue to have great success with our technology. We have done wonderful things throughout these almost 2 years with technology. I'm amazed at where we are as a campus community. I want to just give a moment for Ms. Wedderburn. Do you need to do a couple of things before we get started? We're good? All right, thank you, Ms. Wedderburn. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Ms. Wedderburn is often one of those unsung heroes that is behind the scenes. I have to tell you, every program I show up to, Ms. Wedderburn is there. She's making it happen. So I know the technology is going to shine on us today because she's here doing her thing and doing so very, very well. Yeah, she may give her another round of applause. So, faculty, BSU, welcome back and welcome to the spring semester 2022. It is so wonderful to see you all here and to say hello to those of you who are watching this through streaming. I do hope you had a wonderful, healthy, and joyous holiday season. I am fully aware that COVID-19, especially the Omicron variant, continues to impact our entire nation and indeed the world. But through it all, I have been sending up my prayers for each and every one of you, making sure that we're doing everything we can to keep one another safe. I did have some downtime myself, and I don't know about for you, but it was rejuvenating. And I do hope that you had a chance to pull back, rest, and reflect and do what you needed to do to come back strong. Our students need us, and we are here to deliver on our promise of a quality higher education experience for our students. So I'm going to thank you in advance for what you will do this semester, but let me also say once again, thank you for what you have done to get us all to this point. During my time and in our tradition, you know that this is the time where I provide some brief remarks on where we have been and our status today and what we can expect as we continue to face the future, a new normal, as everyone has said. Thank you again for the teaching, research, and service that has allowed us and our latest graduates to experience the winter commencement ceremony and to see those students walk across that stage. Wasn't that wonderful? Yes. Give yourselves a round of applause. When we left for the holiday, we went into our virtual mode for finals due to the spike in positive tests that we were experiencing here on the campus. We were among the first campuses to experience the spiking, largely due to, as many believe, the Omicron variant. And as we all know by now, that was just the beginning of the spiking that was happening across the nation and around the world. The good news is, because we are a highly vaccinated community, many of the cases reported had only mild or no symptoms at all, and we did not receive any reports of hospitalizations. That is due to the hard work and all of the efforts and the responsibility that individuals in this community have taken to get vaccinated. You know that we mandated, the University System of Maryland mandated the vaccines last April. And it was, I don't want to minimize those who were impacted and perhaps contracted the virus. I know that you experienced the virus in different ways. But what I want you all to know is because of the work that we've done to protect this campus and to adhere to safety protocols, we are able to come together in person, virtually, and to deliver on higher education. We remain committed here at Bowie State University to the safety first protocols. Safety on campus continues, and we, as you came in today, you probably are hearing a lot about what is to come with our safety protocols. So I want to take just a few moments to reinforce that message about safety first. We continue to stress the importance of all of our safety protocols, and that begins with vaccinations. It now includes boosters. As you know, and we know, there are many scientists in this room, and we follow the science and the data. And the science and data tells us that the boosters do matter, that after some period of time, there is a waning in the ability for the vaccines to continue to combat the virus and the various variants. So please get the boosters when it is possible and you are eligible. As you can see, we continue to mask up. Now, many of you may have noticed I have two masks on because we are asking that everyone please get your KN95 mask. And if you want to show the BSU logos, as I'm doing today with my bulldog, then put that on top of your KN95 mask. That is going to help keep you and keep the community safe. We continue to sanitize the buildings. We do temperature checks. You know that was done as you walked into this building. We continue to check the badges, showing your green badge, showing that you are in compliance with all of the safety protocols. So we will continue doing what we know has worked for us. Just recently, the University System of Maryland did mandate boosters for all residential students, and our students began moving in yesterday. They do need to show proof of their vaccines and all their documents, including their boosters. We will have booster clinics on the campus, and you'll be hearing more about that in future emails. As per the communications you received in an email dated, it was back in December 7th, there are additional safety protocols noted there. So please keep reading the COVID-19 webpage for the latest information on the safety protocols. And then I want to acknowledge our coordinators who continue to lead the way, keeping us safe and following best practices in the science and the data, Ms. Cheryl Dove and Mr. Rashawn Evans, who are the campus response coordinators for COVID-19. We also want to acknowledge, and I need to acknowledge, the work of the Wellness Center, the WISE Wellness Center, under the nurse practitioner, Lee Lin, who's been doing an outstanding job. We owe, yes. Thank you. You know, we owe so much to those who are on the front lines of the healthcare crisis that we face. And I do acknowledge and appreciate so very much those workers who have continued to work throughout this pandemic and are dedicated to the health, safety, and welfare of our campus. To all of those working in the counseling center, residence life, under the direction of Dr. Demetrius Johnson as we navigate the impact of the pandemic and adhere to these protocols. While we have faced the pandemic, there is much reason to be optimistic about the future. So as we come together today, let's talk about where we are and where we're heading. We are staying focused on racing to excellence. You know that's the name of our strategic plan. And I know you're expecting a quiz right about now. Have you had your coffee? So we are going to stay focused on the top 3 priorities of academic excellence, student success, and the long-term viability of the institution. Will you say that with me? What is it? Academic excellence, student success, and the long-term viability of the institution. Those are our 3 priorities. We've had those in place since 2019. We will finish out our strategic plan in 2024, and that means that very soon we're going to start focusing on the next strategic plan. So as that one winds up, we will have a new plan in place. In academic affairs, I want to thanks to those who are working on the development of new programs to ensure we are providing new and innovative workforce-aligned opportunities for our students. You will hear from Provost Goodman in a little while. I believe tomorrow he will be addressing you to give detailed updates, and he'll address you shortly today. But I want to take a moment out and to applaud all of our faculty members for the amazing research, teaching, and service that is evidenced by the various grants, publications, and scholarly activity realized during the pandemic. At the beginning of December, the Office of Sponsored Research and Programs reported an increase of 66% in grant awards from the prior year. Give yourselves a round of applause. At the end of the semester, we also had 26 employees take advantage of our voluntary separation incentive plan, and coverage for those areas have been adjusted. Please know that we miss each and every one of those individuals who have retired early. We wish them well, and I want you all to know that we will be hosting a luncheon in March for those retirees and inviting them and all of our retirees back so we can fully celebrate them. But if they're watching today, because I know it's hard to pull back from Bowie State University, we want to wish you the very best in your retirement. For legislative affairs, the session for the legislative session has opened for this year, and we are moving forward to advocate for the needs of our university. Within institutional advancement, and we have many of the cabinet members with us today. I believe Mr. Swinton is here with us. Mr. Swinton, would you please stand up, please? Excuse me, give him a round of applause. Mr. Swinton and his team helped launch the public phase of our capital campaign with a goal of $50 million as that goal. I'm here today, if you haven't already heard, we had that launch go forward in the most successful way. On the night that we launched back in December, we announced that we had reached a $40 million target towards the $50 million goal. Please give him a round of applause again. And thanks to each and every one of you, why are people giving? Why are organizations giving? They're giving because of you and everyone across this campus who has demonstrated great value, the value that we bring to our students and to the larger community and to the workforce. And so they see the value proposition and they believe in us, and they're demonstrating that with the funds that have been donated. So those applause are owed to each and every one of you and everyone across this campus. Within administration and finance, the senior leadership team met to review the mid-year budget, and a memo will be forthcoming to announce the redistribution and priorities as we begin this semester. the redistribution of any funds to make sure that we are aligned with our strategic goals. I want to encourage everyone to work with your department chairs and deans to provide input as we begin building the budget for next year. The schedule of deadlines is posted on the webpage, and it is the expectation that every department chair and dean communicate the needs of your departments and your colleges through the process outlined by the provost, and we want you to give input to help build that budget. When decisions are made about the budget, it is also expected that those decisions be communicated back to the chairs and deans so everyone knows about the priorities, but how we're funding those priorities. And by now, I do hope you have seen the announcement from the governor, Governor Hogan, regarding salary increases. I hope you didn't miss that. The salary increases come in the form of a one-time bonus of $1,500 and a 1% cost of living adjustment, or COLA, effective January 2022. In July 2022, employees will receive an additional 3% COLA. In addition, in January and July, the proposal stipulates that the university will be granted a pool of funds to distribute merit increases to eligible employees. So there's going to be a lot more coming out, more information about the merit increases. But for now, I hope we're starting off on a good note for this 2022 year. And if you see the governor, please give him our acknowledgments and appreciation. So I think we're really pleased about that. Within DO-IT, or the Department of Information Technology, they continue to work on the plan to close in on the digital divide and enhance learning supports, including enhancement of smart classrooms. The last report indicates that 70 classes have been converted to smart classrooms, and the work continues. We continue with our laptop program to give out laptops to our students to help close in on the digital divide. So there's a lot happening these days, and what I want you to know is that we remain focused on our top priorities, ensuring that our students have what they need to succeed. And let's talk about the students. We have more students coming to us. Applications are up once again for next year's enrollment. The applications are up by 34.3% from last year this same time. Admits are up by 134%. And I'm not sure if Dr. Clemens is here, but would you give him, he and his team, another round of applause for the work that they're doing? And then with athletics and recreation, we continue to focus in on the health and wellness of our campus. We had to cut back due to COVID-19 and the spiking, had to cut back on some of our in-person activities. We hope to resume them soon. But if you're able to participate in those outdoor activities, I encourage you to do so. The pause, we again hope won't be for too long. Our athletic teams are competing without spectators, but they are competing. And so wherever you are, please stream the games and cheer on our Bulldogs from afar. And then finally, let me close with the excitement that is brewing for the CIAA, our athletic conference. This is a come one, come all. Bowie State University is the host university for the athletic conference tournament that is to take place February 22nd through the 26th. And this is in person at the Royal Farms Arena. I invite you all, come on out, have some enjoyment, cheer on the Bulldogs, and let's continue marching and racing to excellence with the top 3 priorities of academic excellence, student success, and the long-term viability of the institution. That concludes my remarks at this time. I also want to acknowledge the keynote speaker, Dr. Schoeninger. Do I have that right? Is that correct? Schoeninger? Thank you so much for being with Bowie State University and giving the address for this Faculty Institute. Faculty members, welcome back. Thank you for all that you're doing, and let's continue racing to excellence. Thank you so very much.
Good morning, faculty. How are you all doing today? It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be here. It's wonderful to be part of the spring 2022 Faculty Institute. I hope everybody had an opportunity really to, I know as the fall semester had ended, President Bro mentioned a lot of the wonderful things that happened last semester. But really what I'm hoping that, again, in terms of all of the successes we've had, all of some trials and tribulations that we've had in terms of some individuals, in terms of their life, their families and their friends, I hope everyone really had an opportunity to really relax during this, the festive holidays. And I'm hoping that, again, that everyone's really ready to come back, particularly for the spring semester, because I'm definitely am. I want to take this time really to thank Dr. Guerin and the CETO Fellows for definitely organizing this great event that we have for our Faculty Institute for the spring semester. And I also want to thank, again, Dr. President Bro for her vision, for her outstanding leadership, and the direction in terms of making Bowie State University a premier institution, and her commitment to support and grow the intellectual talents of this great institution. And when I say the talents, I'm particularly talking about our students, our devoted staff, as well as our amazing faculty members. I also want to give honor and a privilege to say that it's definitely serving as the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at this great institution for the last 19 months. I want to thank also not just the faculty, my colleagues, but I also want to thank our cabinet members who I felt really have done a great job in terms of bettering this great institution. I also want to give thanks to our outstanding deans, Dean Aqua, Dean Cheryl Blackman, Dean Rhonda Jetter, as well as Dean Lawrence McNeil and Dean Cosmo Wakuffer. I also want to thank my roundtable group within academic affairs, all of my direct reports, and the special staff in the Provost's office. Again, today has been a very exciting day for me in particular, because really this is the start of the spring semester. One of the things that I would like to talk about more so is in terms of why we're here, in terms of educating individuals. Here I have a slide, and this is one of the things that we started off on for the fall semester in terms of 2 quotes. On why we're here is I educate to inspire. I don't believe in terms of when we look at us as faculty members that we are mentors to a lot of our students. And really in terms of where they are in their lives, in their young lives. And some who are just coming back after having spent many years doing other things and want to come back and make a difference. That again, that's what our purpose is. Our purpose here is to educate and to inspire them to be better than us. And then the last thing I want to just leave is that we must remember, particularly when we look at just on Monday, where we are celebrating ML King Day, that we must remember that intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. That was Martin Luther King Jr. in 1947. I want to talk about also about when I look at where we are today. I call today in terms of our special topic, in terms of bridging learning environments for our future learners. I had an opportunity to talk to at least 2 of our young faculty members, probably within the last, really the last 2 months. And at least both individuals came to me and were saying that after spending so many years, getting their doctorate degree, after so many years in terms of looking at, going to their undergraduate program, getting their master's degree, they had an opportunity really to vision and look at our faculty members who were teaching them. And that's what inspired them to come into the academy. But what they've seen in terms of coming here now is not what they've seen in terms of when they were here. Things have changed, as we all know. Really, COVID-19 has had a really significant change in everyone's lives. And for them, it was really, are they making the right choice? All the things that they learned while they were in school, are they ready to make that change, that pivotal change, in terms of inspiring and really educating this new group of students who want to be where they are? And so these are some challenging times that we do have. One of the things I was telling a couple of my people in my office that, again, 19 months ago, when I had opportunity really to come here to Bowie State University, at my prior place, one of the things that was really amazing to me is I've told many people that when I came to a university and why I wanted to be in the academy was because, as I tell many people, my 4 years at my college as an undergrad were the best 4 years of my life. And I wanted to make sure that, again, gave that opportunity to those individual students who were behind me to make sure that they had the best 4 years of their life in terms of whatever institution that they were in. The other part was really, again, just the vibrancy that you would see at any college and any university. Coming to Bowie State University, and again, going through this, as a result of COVID, didn't have opportunity really to come onto the campus. And what most people would do really, they go into YouTube and look at all the videos and saw just the vibrancy, the energy of the students, all the successes on the academic side from our faculty, all the different activities in terms of co-curricular activities that were going on at this great institution. Were some amazing things that were going on, which was the reason why I really wanted to be a part of this institution. But coming here in June and seeing what was going on, really, COVID had a major impact. So there really was no one here. And as I tell people, again, if you look at, if you come to the Provost office, if you've ever been there, my desk actually faces the door coming into the Academic Affairs office. But literally, what I do, I have another desk that really sits on the glass in the Academic Affairs office. And so basically, I tell many people that I have the best view of this campus in terms of the quadruplex. And so literally, since June when I first got here, literally I'm looking out the window, just seeing if anybody was out there going across campus. And as the months went by, as the spring semester came and went, as the summer came and went, last fall, last spring, we started to see more people coming back. And so when we look at COVID-19 overall, we know that, again, at the end of the day, even though it has had a major impact on a lot of us, we do know that, again, at some point in time, again, as many people will say, that we're going to have to live through it. There's no other way to get around it right now. I think in terms of all the medicine that's out there, all the safety protocols that are there, in some way or another, we're going to have to learn how to live through it. But again, the most important thing is, as I've been telling people again, is that definitely, as President Bro had mentioned, particularly with the safety protocols that are out there, particularly at this institution, we need to really marvel at in terms of what we have done as an institution, number one. We have had tremendous amount of success, and I will still say, because COVID-19 has been politicized, that again, that we must do our job also in terms of making sure that, again, we are educating everyone at this institution, around our local communities, within the state and around the nation, that you don't politicize a medical issue at the end of the day. What I'm looking at, again, in terms of really, particularly our young students, because when we look at all the stuff in terms of misinformation, disinformation that's out there, we have a lot of individuals who think certain things are going on, that the government is doing X, Y, and Z, and other people are doing this and that. But again, in terms of us, in order to achieve our goals, in terms of educating, besides what we teach in the classroom, I really believe, again, in terms of where we are today as a country, as a nation, that it's very important that, again, that we really dispel a lot of this misinformation and disinformation that's out there. Because again, we are doing a tremendous job. I know here at this great institution we are. And again, it's only really in terms of making sure that, again, at the end of the day, we're providing that information to our community at large. There are several things I want to talk about in terms of this bridging this learning environment. Besides the safety protocol that we have at this great institution, we do know that, again, coming to the classrooms, that it's the most important thing is that we're wearing this mask, above your nose. We all should know that, again, COVID-19 is an airborne disease that actually goes in through your respiratory system through the nose. Wearing the mask is probably the most important thing that you can do. Right now, we're talking about the KN95 mask. We're definitely talking about being vaccinated. We definitely know that the efficacy of the vaccine is changing in terms of duration. And so getting the booster is going to probably be something that we're definitely going to be expecting several months, year after year, until something else happens. Right now, I can say that, again, when I look at the science, being a scientist, that, again, we have done some amazing things as far as getting this vaccine out. And again, I know in terms of many of the researchers that are out there are doing everything that they can possibly do to make sure that, again, we are being covered, we're being safe, so that we can come back to some sense of normalcy, not just to this university, but in terms of just our everyday lives. What I want to also mention in terms of when I look at just where we are at this semester, going into this semester, in terms of what we've done as an institution. We have been able to leverage the technology, and that's to me the most important thing when I look at Bowie State University, that there needs to be a lot of credit given to for our DoIT, for VP Tyler, his staff, and everybody. Right now, Bowie State University has leveraged the CARES dollars really to make sure that, again, that in terms of connectivity, how we're utilizing the internet, how we're utilizing getting onto the internet, are there. Right now, we just are in the process of receiving, hopefully we'll be receiving a $3 million grant from NTIA. I'm claiming it right now, where basically it's, increasing the 5G, increasing the connectivity, not just here around the campus, but also within 3 communities within the Prince George's County area. We're also having a great initiative going on right now with AT&T. We had a Dean's Council meeting yesterday, and we asked the Deans really, again, in terms of AT&T wants Bowie State to be the first HBCU to increase the connectivity of 5G within our classrooms and within our academic programs, so that our academic programs now can become innovative. And so we've asked really in terms of technology, we know that, again, computer science, we know that CTech, I mean, they can leverage 5G and everything else. But the other academic programs, how can we become innovative and more creative in terms of advancing our academic programs? And so we're asking everyone to really think outside the box in terms of how we can create these interactive labs that are virtual to enhance the programs that we currently have and some of our future programs. So the things we're looking at, we have a music program. So again, talking about increasing 5G connectivity. When I look at just education in terms of college education, we're talking about digital learning right now in terms of how we can forward that particular technology to those we're trying to teach from K through 12 and to the higher education. So we're asking everyone to go back and think about how we can increase and leverage this technology we currently will be getting at this great institution. President Bro mentioned again in terms of the HyFlex classrooms. Who would have thought with the HyFlex classrooms? One of the things when I first came here, we had our distance learning campuses, and that's part of what we wanted to do. Many times you will hear at these distance learning campuses, students will say again, they don't feel attached to any institution. And so what we wanted to do really was to have that HyFlex classroom so that if I am teaching at Bowie State University, I can teach at one of our distance learning campuses, where students can now engage each other on the big screens. And the vice versa. If we're at the distance campuses, the regional campuses, someone could be teaching there and then teaching the same class here on the main campus. And again, the most important thing is that students are now being able to engage and talk. So we started off with 20 classrooms. As President Monroe mentioned, it's 70. Actually, it's 80 classrooms right now that we fully have. And so one of the things I've talked about, particularly on the learning side, that Bowie State was a Bowie State was a comprehensive liberal arts teaching institution. But now, just as of last year, going into this year, we have 8 online degree programs that will be starting this spring, 3 for within the College of Education, and 5 others in our other colleges. That is amazing. When you look at, thank you, let's give a clap for that one right there. The most important thing about the online programs is, again, we had to make a change because of COVID. Thank you, COVID, for allowing us to make that change. But the most important thing is, as I'm telling individuals, is that, again, many HBCUs, many minority-serving institutions did not take advantage of the online process or the online education. And so now I'm glad to say that, again, Bowie State is part of that reservoir of other institutions that are doing that. Just last week, we found out that, again, we did a marketing campaign, and we had over 4,600 students around the country, alumni, current students, other individuals who are interested in our 8 online degree programs. 600 students have already applied to these programs. Amazing in terms of what we're doing. The next thing that I'm looking at when I talk about the HyFlex classrooms is, again, what I want to see is, I don't want us to become Johnny or Mary come lately as far as online degree programs. What I do see with the HyFlex classrooms is that, again, now there will be HyFlex programs. So imagine that now. Currently, as opposed we're talking about our regional campuses, now we're really talking about, again, in terms of having students who I'm teaching right now face-to-face, but also having maybe a group of students maybe somewhere globally in another country, somewhere as a cohort, maybe over in California, somewhere down in Texas. We have these opportunities now, and I'm asking us as a faculty really to broaden our horizons and definitely start thinking in terms of where we will be. When I talk about, again, this learning environment, bridging this learning environment, that's where our future learners are. I also want to talk about really the instructional modalities in terms of the high-flex classrooms. Again, we have done a tremendous job since since March of 2020 in terms of when COVID hit. We talked about immediately going from this face-to-face to this digital learning, and we've done that. Tremendous job in terms of what we've done. Zoom technology, Teams technology, Blackboard Collaborate, we've done all those things. So we've mastered a lot in terms of what we had to do over a short time. And I'm really excited about what we've done as an institution. Right now, again, our future is ahead of us, and we've got a great opportunity to grasp all of those things that are out there. When I look at in terms of where we are currently right now, in terms of where we are as far as COVID is concerned, one of the things that we've done with our deans right now, and we'll be definitely spreading this out in terms of our departmental meetings tomorrow, is a contingency plan for the spring semester. Now, we do know that in the fall, even though, again, we did have about maybe close to a 60-40% of our classes being in person versus being online, that we had individual faculty members who were impacted in terms of either having COVID or they had to be quarantined because of the fact that maybe some members in their family had COVID and they just had to be quarantined. All of this technology that we currently have now should not allow us to really skip a beat. And so we're asking in terms of this coming spring semester, again, definitely knowing that all the safety protocols are there, not just for faculty members who are teaching in person, but also for faculty members who are teaching virtually. Again, we don't know, again, in terms of who's coming in and out of individuals' households. And so we want to make sure that, again, that we're not going to miss a beat as far as providing the quality instruction that I am expecting, that I am used to hearing about from our faculty. And so what our contingency plan basically is that once if a faculty member is impacted directly or impacted indirectly in terms of a member of their household having COVID and they have to be quarantined, what are we going to do? And so we want to make sure that before we start coming on, January 24th, that our plans are in place. And the same thing for our students. We want to make sure that, again, at the end of the day, that, again, our students have some viable options as to how they can continue their studies in their class. Again, we know that, again, in terms of what things may have happened in the past, in terms of getting an excuse, in terms of being out, normally, basically, the student had to make up the work. But right now, we have the opportunities to give students a little bit more opportunity in terms of being engaged, in terms of leveraging the technology. But again, depending on the faculty and depending on how you're managing your classrooms, it's totally how you are going to provide that opportunity for your students. And so again, we're asking that again, in this particular time that we're in, that again, we must be very nimble, we must be very flexible as an institution. Also looking at the professional development. One of the good things I want to, again, thank Dr. Guerin, the CETO Fellows. We have some instructional designers who actually last spring semester put on a series of workshops and sessions. That's one of the main things that I really want to see us really engage in. How can we, in terms of, again, enhance our skill sets? Because again, right now, we're not going to be the same institution. There's no institution around this country, around this world, will be the same way they were in 2020. We must change, we must adapt, we must be flexible, we must be nimble. And so again, we cannot put our heads in the sand. We must be the forerunners. We must be the visionaries in terms of where we see academics, where do we see higher education going in the future. And I'm challenging everybody really to be the trendsetter in terms of where we're going to be as an individual, as an instructor, as a faculty, as a department, as an academic unit, as a college, and as a university. One of the other things that I'm asking from when we look at just where we are as far as this contingency plan is that, again, that again, during this time in terms of where we are right now, we still must be compassionate. Compassionate about each other, compassionate about our students, compassionate in terms of making sure that again, that we are trying to do what we're supposed to do to inspire and to educate. And then also we have mental health. One of the things that I want to do this particular semester, and speaking soon with Dean Jetter, with Dr. Otis Williams, with Dr. Lewis Jack, with Dean Blackman, about how we can really manage in terms of creating some type of an environment as far as mental health is concerned. Last semester we had that mental health day, and I think it went over well. I think it went over very well as an institution. For those who were able to come in person and those who were able to participate virtually, great success. But I do know that again, in terms of how we are juggling and balancing our life balances as far as work and family is very difficult. And everybody's different, and everybody has their own story to tell. But what I really want to see for the spring semester, that again, there are individuals who really need to see or hear from others and how they are coping and how they're dealing with it, with stress. And so what I'm asking for, at least for this spring semester, is that again, we have some type of focus groups that we are trying to form, where we can definitely talk to each other and reach out to each other. Then we have, again, the last two things I want to mention is really, if you've seen the Provost emails, I have something we have that came out even today. We have one. Great things are happening every day in academic affairs. And so again, I truly see, when I first came here, as I said before, that we have some amazing, outstanding, phenomenal faculty members who are doing some great things every day here at Bowie State University. And so I've asked our deans, I asked our chairs, if you know anything that our faculty members are doing, give it to us. Melissa Morgan, who works in my office, who actually is the person who's been producing these particular highlights for our faculty members, that's what we want to see. I had somebody ask me, well, how many days out the week you want to do it? I'm like, I want to do it 365 days out the year. If you have something that you're doing that's amazing, we want to highlight it. Because again, you are the ones, faculty members, again, you are the heartbeat of this great institution. And we want to make sure that we are recognizing. I want to make sure that I'm recognizing that, again, I'm in the presence of some outstanding, talented individuals. And so I'm begging you, in terms of, as I said before, to our deans, to our chairs, and as individual faculty members, if you're doing the great things, let us know, because we want to highlight you and showcase you to not just to the institution here, but now with URM, they want to highlight it throughout the entire regionally, statewide, as well as nationally. So again, continue to do the things that you're doing. The last thing I want to leave off with really is this slide here is really the academic affairs goals for 2021, 2022. And again, I had 5 goals that I kind of mentioned when we first got here, definitely during the fall semester, during our fall faculty institute. And the 5 things were, again, I'll read this really quickly. The first one really was middle states, making sure that, again, we were reaffirmed. And so again, when you look at, definitely our executive committee in terms of Ms. Gail Fink, Dr. Brzezinski, Dr. Makiba Green, the steering committee, all of the other subcommittees, all faculty, staff, again, thank you for an amazing job. Again, reaffirm full accreditation with no recommendations. And as I said before, again, institutions don't get that recognition. Normally, there's always some modification or something that you have to monitor. But again, it tells you again in terms of what we have as a great institution. The things that I want to talk about tomorrow again is really talking about strengthening and enhancing our quality academic programs. We have some outstanding programs for our online degree programs that we're looking at. We're trying to branch out to our regional campuses right now. But also, before we even start doing all of those things, I do know, again, you got to take care of home first. Before the great ideas, let's talk about how we're going to strengthen our current programs. The third is really building a model of student success. Dr. Bro kind of mentioned in terms of our strategic plan. It's about student success. Again, we have done a good job as far as student success, but I do know, again, we can get better. Right now, we currently have over 4,400 students who actually have registered right now for the spring. We have over 2,500 students who have not registered right now. Some of those students definitely will be registering because at times, I don't like the term, students kind of wait late in terms of registering for their classes. But what if we had the 2,500 students, all of them, registered right now, including the 4,400? President Bro mentioned in terms of our recruitment as far as new students coming on board. Again, we're doing something that no other institution in the state is doing. Our numbers are constantly going up. So as you're bringing in new students, if we retain the students, again, that's the amazing thing for any great institution. Number 4 is really streamlining processes and leveraging technology for better efficiency and effectiveness. Again, we look at in terms of some things that we're doing on the technology side. The main thing I want to just mention very briefly is there's, what we're looking at really is we look at Interfolio, how we launched a successful program as far as our tenure and promotion process, our rank and appointment tenure process. Again, thanks to everybody, from those who submitted their dossiers, to the candidates, to at the departmental level, the chairs, the deans, and now at the university ART committee. Again, thank you for the phenomenal in terms of just following through the process. We also have some other things we're looking at. We're definitely looking at having course leave in terms of changing our courses in terms of new courses being evaluated or being produced within the university. And then the last thing in terms of creating a foundation of a Research 2 institution. I just want to say again, as President Bro had mentioned earlier, right now, 2 years ago, we were at $5 million in terms of funding. Last year, we were almost close to like $9 million. Currently, right now, we're at $14 million. In order to become a Research 2 institution, you must generate at least $5 million every year. We're doing that. I personally believe that as great as this institution is, we should be about $15 million. But the next thing is really trying to graduate 20 doctoral students. And that's where we need some new PhD programs. Right now, I just got word that, again, there are only 9 institutions or HBCUs that are R2 institutions. Prairie View, as I was told just this past last week, became the 10th institution. As I told many people in terms of, at one time being here in Baltimore, some 20 years ago, looking at Morgan State and had opportunity to be an adjunct faculty at Morgan State. But it took Morgan almost like 25 years. And I know Morgan's pretty much big up here in the DMV area. But again, it took them 20-something years to become where they are right now. Again, good people, I can tell you this. The talent that we have in this room, the talent that we have that are streaming, again, research-wise, in terms of where we are teaching, research, and service, we're there. We've done some amazing things. Now it's really trying to generate some doctoral programs that will elevate that level. And so we're looking at, in terms of our research side, how can we still provide faculty development for our faculty in terms of what we're doing right now. We're bringing in research ideas to our faculty members. We're bringing in some grant writers for some of our faculty members. But the most important thing that I'm looking at is how can we create independent researchers to maintain their research expertise in their chosen fields of endeavor. So with that being said, I want to end with that as being my presentation. Tomorrow I will expand upon some of these strategic goals and where we are. There are some things I definitely want to talk about in terms of Dr. Bro had mentioned earlier as far as the Mackenzie Scott. I want to see how we can, as a faculty, really get together, plan in terms of how we can utilize these dollars to make sure that, again, that we are, making sure that we have this long-term viability of this great institution. And the greatest thing is that, again, it all starts with you all in terms of how you inspire and how you educate our students. And so with that, I want to say thank you very much. Welcome you back to Bowie State University, and look forward for us having an amazing spring semester, spring 2022. Thank you very much. Spring semester, spring 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Provost Goodman, for your words of wisdom, welcoming us back, and I know that we all look forward to hearing from you again tomorrow. quote again from Martin Luther King Jr. "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically." Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. I truly hope that the 4 breakout sessions today will help us think intensively and critically about teaching and learning and the topics of equity, interfaith literacy, having an entrepreneurial mindset, and learning the endless boundaries that Adobe can offer us. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the hard work of the presenters. You can clap if you're at home or clap if you're in person. As you know, each session will have its own keynote speaker, one of whom is in person today. Todd Taylor is here as a presenter for the Adobe session. Tomorrow you will formally meet him as he will be introduced and talk about our Adobe plans for faculty and students. And I suspect that in the next year or so we will be seeing lots more of Todd. There are other people to thank, and at the back of the program is a complete list. I would like to give a special shout out to the CETL Fellows who have worked endlessly to support the 4 breakout sessions and the plans for sharing our experience today through a virtual gallery walk tomorrow. First time we've ever tried this, and I think it's going to be truly exciting and enjoyable. Another special shout out to Annette Whitterburn, who has been a tremendous support in putting the logistical pieces together. We thought that the high-flex model and only 4 breakout sessions would be easy, but what we learned is that we had some challenges and that the high-flex model is something that we need to get better at, and hopefully CETL will be bringing in guest speakers in the future to talk about the high-flex model and student engagement. And of course, I want to give a warm thank you to President Bro and Provost Goodman for demonstrating to us that they support our time for faculty development. I would also like to take a moment to formally introduce you to Ms. LaShawn Banks, the CETL Administrative Assistant, who comes to us with extensive experience working in higher education and who has been running alongside of us to excellence. I am on 4 breakout sessions. In previous surveys to faculty, you have indicated to us that you like having both formats, a deep dive into a topic of interest and a plethora of shorter breakout sessions to choose from. Would you take a minute and type in the chat or write somewhere how many faculty pre-registered for the Faculty Institute? Just a guesstimate. How many people do you think pre-registered? If you guessed over 100, you are correct. If you guessed over 125, you are correct. If you guessed over 150, you are correct. 173 of you responded to the pre-registration. Sessions, the stress of isolation, and our support for high-flex conferences. Another item that speaks very highly of having alternative approaches to professional development is that today there are 170 participants in this opening session. Some in person, some virtual. When we used to have the opening session just in person, we usually counted about 125 people. So what this tells us is that we as a faculty want alternative approaches to faculty development, opportunities for in-person, opportunities for virtual, and opportunities for high-flex. Today we asked you to sign in to the overall Faculty Institute. There is a QR code in the chat if you haven't already signed in. In your breakout sessions, you will be asked to complete a different sign-in. Please know that we're not checking on you to make sure that you attend. What we want to know in each session is who you are so we can get the book that is assigned to that session to you. So each of the 4 sessions has a professional book that will extend your learning from today. And the Single Fellows will be distributing those books. So by signing in and registering at your individual breakout session, you're giving us your name to receive that book. Additionally, in the pre-registration, many of you said, we'd really like to tell you what kinds of professional development you want. So one of the questions, excuse me, that we're asking is for you to give us input. We have compiled a list of opportunities that we think you might be interested in and provided space for you to tell us what you're interested in. So again, please be sure you're completing the registration and the evaluation in your breakout session, because that's where we're going to capture all of this information. I hope that you have a good day today and that you will return tomorrow to hear our keynote speaker, Todd Taylor, and experience our first ever virtual gallery walk and learn more about Title III, and to hear again from Provost Goodman. Remember that tomorrow is fully virtual. Today's breakout sessions will begin at 10:30. Room numbers and Zoom links are in the program that we posted yesterday. On your way to your breakout session, if you're in person, pick up a beverage and breakfast choices. Happy New Year, and I hope you have a good semester and that you enjoy the Faculty Institute program.